Why do hamstring strains seem to happen so often in soccer, football, lacrosse, and baseball, especially during sprinting efforts? Today, we're breaking down exactly what happens when the hamstring is injured, how to safely progress back to the field, and the key role of isometric and eccentric strength training in the rehab process. Hey everyone, Dr. Jeff Lewis here from Lewis Physical Therapy and Sports Rehabilitation. I work with athletes every day who are trying to stay healthy, get faster, and dominate on the field. And one of the most common injuries in team sport athletes is a hamstring strain. Not all hamstring strains are the same, and understanding the severity can help guide return to play. Grade 1. This is a mild strain, basically some overstretching of the fibers, but no true separation of the fibers. Athletes will usually feel tightness, but there shouldn't be a significant loss of strength right away. Grade 2 is a partial tear with moderate loss of strength and pain when contracting the muscle. Athletes often struggle with sprinting, jogging, or even more basic explosive movements, and that's where you don't have a partial separation of the fibers. Grade 3 is a complete rupture of the hamstrings. These are rare but severe and often require extensive amounts and multiple months of rehab and recovery. When you're sprinting at top speed, your hamstrings play a massive role. They're responsible for controlling the forward swing of the leg, absorbing force when the foot hits the ground, and then helping propel you forward. They act like a brake and an engine at the same time, slowing the leg down, then powering it back into the ground. That dual role is why they're so vulnerable at high-speed running. Most hamstring strains happen during the terminal swing and early stance phase of running, that split second before and after your foot strikes the ground. At this moment, the hamstrings are lengthened and working eccentrically. They're trying to decelerate the leg while it's moving at max speed. The combination of high force and high velocity in a stretched position makes the perfect storm for injury. It is also not uncommon to see these hamstring injuries during explosive acceleration or deceleration efforts. Another major factor that can increase the likelihood of a hamstring injury is improper running mechanics. Athletes who overstride, meaning their foot lands too far out in front of their body, place extra stress on the hamstrings, and here's why. When you overstride, the hamstrings have to work even harder to decelerate the leg and control the impact as the foot hits the ground. This creates a longer lever arm and puts the hamstrings at a more stretched position when they're already under high eccentric loads. Combine that with maximal sprinting speed, and you've got a much higher chance of a strain. Efficient mechanics, on the other hand, mean landing closer to the body's center of mass, keeping stride turnover quick, and minimizing braking forces. That not only improves sprint performance, it also helps reduce hamstring injury risk. Rehab isn't just about getting pain-free. It's about rebuilding sprint mechanics step by step and gradually exposing to running stress. Here's how a typical progression might look, especially after a grade 1 injury. Day 3 to 4, you might have your athletes starting to do some just light on-field jogging if symptoms are at an appropriate level. From there, you're gonna have a gradual buildup each day of running into ultimately 60 to 80% of max effort in a straight ahead fashion. At some point then, you're gonna add in some change of direction work, probably once they're ready to start running at 70% effort, which is gonna be some agility and cutting drills. These are typically lower stress on the hamstring, so we can add them earlier in the rehab process. High intensity work, so this is high intensity accelerations and max velocity sprints, and then positional movements like route running, defensive coverage, or base running. And then lastly is going to be the return to play. This is the final phase that looks very much like game situations at full intensity. The key here is gradual exposure, not skipping steps, otherwise you can risk re-injury. And this will look different for each individual, not only for their injury, but also for their sport. Strengthening is critical, and two key methods stand out. Isometrics, so this is holding positions under tension like hamstring bridges or isometric knee flexion holds. These can help reduce pain and improve tendon stiffness early on, building work capacity, and then can be progressed to build some serious strength in long lever isolated positions throughout rehab. Eccentrics, this is lengthening under load. This could be RDLs, 45-degree GHD work, or eccentric Swiss ball curls. These are essential because hamstrings often fail during eccentric actions at high speeds. Eccentrics help increase the muscle's fascicle length and thus their ability to tolerate these forces at lengthened positions. Combining both isometrics and eccentrics allows us to rebuild resilience while restoring sprint-specific function. So if you're struggling with hamstring injuries, feel free to comment below with any questions that you had. And as always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and again, drop a comment with your biggest questions about hamstring injuries. We'll see you in the next video.